Alright, let's look at this question. This is all about configurable indexes. Option A says Azure Files. Azure Files is suited for network based file access and doesn't support structured querying or index customization. Incorrect. We'll move to B. B says Azure Blob Storage. Azure Blob Storage is used for storing unstructured data and doesn't support SQL queries or index tuning. Wrong answer. We'll move to C. C says Azure Table Storage. Azure Table Storage provides limited query support and uses a fixed indexing approach. So again, wrong answer. We'll move to now option D. D says Cosmos DB. Cosmos DB supports native SQL API access and allows configurable indexes, which meets both the requirement of the question. That being said, option D, Azure Cosmos DB is the right answer. Alright, now let's look at this question. Option E says Azure Cosmos DB instance. Azure Cosmos DB is a different service and doesn't host Azure table storage data. Incorrect. We'll move to B. B says a storage account. Storage account is the foundational resource required to host Azure table storage and manage its data. We'll keep it. We'll move to C. C says blob container. Blob container is meant for storing unstructured objects like files, not structured table entities. Wrong answer. We'll move to now option D. D says a table. A table can't exist on its own. It needs a storage account to be created or managed. Let's delete this. We'll lock option B, storage account, as the right answer. Alright, now let's look at this interesting question. This is about traffic patterns across interconnected nodes. Option A says graph. Graph enables efficient modeling and exploration of inter-node traffic relationships across a network. Quick tip: whenever you see any kind of relationship or interconnections, this kind of things, keywords, graph is the correct answer. Let's move to option B. B says key value. Key value stores are limited in expressing how one network node impacts another due to their flat structure. So key value is wrong. We'll move to B. Option C. C says document. Document stores handle structured data, as the name suggests, right? Document, these are structured things, but will fall short when querying across interconnected network nodes. So document is also wrong. We'll move to option D. This is columnar. Columnar stores excel at a high speed data analysis, but again aren't built to trace connections between network nodes. What's required in the question? D is wrong. We'll lock option E, graph, as the right answer. Alright, now let's look at this question. This is about Azure Cosmos DB table API. Option E says ensures availability across regions during a data center outage. Regional failover is available in Cosmos DB, but it's a built-in feature of overall service, not something exclusive to the table API. Wrong answer. We'll move to now option B. B says enables data segmentation using partition keys. Partitioning is supported by both Azure Tables Storage and Cosmos DB API Table API. So it's not a differentiator. Wrong answer. We'll move to C. C says allows storing larger volumes of structured data. Storage capacity is not a key differentiator between two services in this context. Wrong choice. Let's move to option D. D says facilitates concurrent writes across multiple geographic locations. Azure Cosmos DB Table API supports a multi-master model, allowing active writes across regions without conflict resolution delays. That being said, option D is the right answer. Alrighty, now let's look at this question. This is all about high availability within a single Azure region. Option E says multi-master replication. Multi-master replication supports simultaneous write access across multiple regions but doesn't offer fault tolerance inside one region. Wrong answer. We'll move to now option B. B says availability zones. Availability zones provide redundancy within an Azure region by placing replicas in isolated failure resistant zones. Let's keep it. We'll move to C. C says the strong consistency level. Strong consistency level enforces strict read or write order but doesn't contribute to redundancy within an Azure region. Wrong choice. We'll move to option D. This is automatic failover. Automatic failover reroutes requests across Azure regions during outages but doesn't support redundancy within a single region. Let's delete this. We'll lock option B, availability zones, as the right answer. Okay, now let's look at this question. This is a type of non-relational data. Option E is document. Document store allows schema flexibility and encapsulates all entity related data within a single JSON formatted record. Let's keep it. We'll move to B. B says columnar. Columnar stores favor column wise analytics but doesn't support flexible schema for bundling complete entity data into a single record, hence incorrect. We'll move to option C. C says graph. Graph stores focus on relationship mappings across entities, not on storing complete entity data using a flexible schema. Wrong choice. We'll move to now option D. D says time series. Time series stores are built for tracking chronological data points, not for storing entity data with flexible schema. Wrong choice. Let's lock option A, document, as the right answer. And quick tip for the exam: whenever you see documents or JSON, then these are interconnected. You'll get the answers. If it is JSON, document should click on your mind. If it is document, then JSON should strike on your mind. So that's how it goes. I hope you found this tip useful. Alright, now let's look at this question. This is all about minimizing storage expenses. Option A is archive. Archive tier minimizes storage cost for long-term data retention when retrieval time is not that important. Let's keep this. We'll move to B. B says hot. Hot tier incurs higher storage cost and is suitable for workloads where frequent access to the data is required. If you read the equation, it's clearly mentioned retrieval speed is not a concern. So hot is not required because as mentioned, it's used when frequent data is required. So B is out. We don't want to increase the cost. Now let's move to C. C says cool. Cool tier balances storage cost and is suitable for data with infrequent access over mid-term retention periods. So this is not as good as archive. So we'll delete option C, that is cool, and lock option E, archive, as the right answer. Alrighty, we have a brainstorming question. This is all about RBAC. Option E says Azure Disk Storage. Azure Disk Storage is designed for virtual machine volumes and doesn't support role-based access control, that is RBAC, at the file level or folder level. Incorrect. We'll move to B. B says Azure Data Lake Storage. Data Lake Storage enables RBAC at the file and folder level using access control list and Azure AD integration. Looks good, we can keep it. We'll move to now C. C says Azure Blob Storage. Azure Blob Storage supports container level access but lacks role based access control at the individual level or the individual file or folder level. Wrong answer. We'll move to D. D says Azure Queue Storage. Azure Queue Storage is built for message handling and doesn't support RBAC at the file or folder level, what we need as per the question. D is also wrong. Let's lock option B, Azure Data Lake Storage, as the right answer. Alright, we got a multiple choice question. We need to select two correct answers this time. The question is all about configuring container level settings to optimize performance and data distribution. Option A says throughput. Throughput can be configured at the container level to manage performance and optimize cost. Let's keep it. We'll move to B. B says a read region. Read region is configured at the account level, not at the container level, to support global availability across multiple geographies. Incorrect. We'll move to C. C says partition key. Partition key should be defined at the container level to ensure efficient data distribution and query performance. Let's keep this. We'll move to now option D. D says API. API is selected at the account level, not at the container level. Let's delete this. We'll lock option A throughput and option C partition key as the right answers. Alright, now let's look at this question. This is about account creation and cannot be changed later. Option A says geo redundancy. Geo redundancy is not bound to creation as it can be configured or changed later through the account settings. Incorrect. We'll move to now option B. B says multi-region rights. Multi-region rights is not bound to again creation as it can be enabled or disabled after the account is set up. Wrong choice. Let's move to option C. C says production or non-production account type. The production or non-production account type is not bound to creation as they can be adjusted later for classification or billing purposes. Let's delete it. We'll move to option D, which is the only option left, that is API. API selection is bound to creation as it defines the data model and query language and cannot be changed once the account is created. Looks good? We'll lock option D API is the right answer. So please don't go away. Let's meet in next part of the series.